every single new year, I like to wish for two things. The first one is that Susan Wojcicki doesn't ban me, so that I can be one more year on YouTube and entertain you guys. The second thing is that George Martin finishes Winds of Winter. And I'm banking on the fact that since he will not finish Winds of Winter this year, then at least the Faith is giving at least half of the things that I asked for. You know, you go asking a little bit more, and you're hoping that they will at least fulfill half of the things that you wish. No, all jokes aside, every single year, usually on the 2nd or the 3rd of January, I start looking for the updates of the Winds of Winter. I want to see how George Martin is doing. And all I see is whining and complaining. You know, that kind of puts me off. It's like when you have this big boner and you want to go in and you notice that it's just whines and complains and it's just like, it goes limp. I can't empathize with this. Like, I'm sorry. You tell me if you can empathize with George R.R. Martin whining. Because I had several jobs in my lifetime, okay? I worked at McDonald's. I worked at KFC. I flipped the burger. And I had to deal with unruly customers all the time. People who are dissatisfied. Sometimes I would even flip the burger like a magician. It was so great flipping the burger, and the customer was still unhappy. So it's a lot different to handle these obnoxious and rude people face to face when your boss forces you to smile, and then you have to handle your boss as well. Or being a doctor. Imagine going to a family and telling them that their kid is going to die from leukemia. How do you have that conversation? How do you put that conversation on the table? Okay, like that to me is part of the job and is the difficulty of the job. And then I have to look at an angry old man complaining that people on the forum want to throw cash at him and he is not ready to receive it. And somehow I have to establish this emotional connection and be like, this is so difficult. Like, how can he get through life? How can he push on? How can he soldier on when he's got like fans on the Twitter that made him a millionaire asking like, when is your next book ready? And he just can't handle that question anymore. He views it as harassment. Can you guys establish like some emotional connection with that? Because I'm pretty sure you guys have jobs, right? I mean, you give me super chat, so you must have jobs. Like, no, seriously, like, in your job, do you not face bigger hurdles than some people on the internet asking you, like, when is it ready? When is it done? When are you... I mean, it's been 10 years now, It's not like being a kid in a car that's getting anxious. It's like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? No, it's been 10 years, all right? At this point, I'm pretty sure the fan base would more likely appreciate it if you say, you know what? I can't ride this anymore. Like, I got writer's block. There's nothing coming up. I'm sorry, this IP is canceled. Like, I think the fans would be upset in the beginning, but after a while, they'll get over it. Because right now, you see Martin constantly talk about, I got this side project with the gaming company called Elden Ring or something. Like, I'm going to write that. I got this side project with a TV show company. I'm writing this thing that has nothing to do with Game of Thrones. People are sick of that. It's like the anticipation, like the hype. Obviously, if he comes up with the book by tomorrow, he's going to make record sales. He's probably going to sell more than Rob D'Angelo's White Fragility. He's going to get over her on the top of sales. But yeah, I mean, it's really interesting that the media wants you to care that this old man is being harassed on the internet. With people want to throw money at him and asking him like, is it ready? Is it done? Is it ready? And he just... But what's interesting is that I personally think he's not going to write this book. And there are different reasons for why I think this. And I'm 100% sure that in the unlikely event that he does manage to write Winds of Winter, Dream of Spring is never coming out. And here is why I think that this is the case. I base it on the interviews with Martin, and I base it on what he talks about his writing style. His writing style seems to be a lot of foreshadowing, building up to a certain event, and the build-up usually happens throughout multiple volumes, like multiple pages, thousands of pages. And this is why it's a great writer. Because if you're paying attention, you can actually foreshadow some of the events. Like you can actually predict some of the events. And I think the show destroyed all of that magic by giving major spoilers. They spoiled the fact that Daenerys is going to become evil. They spoiled the fact that Jon Snow is going to come back from the grave. They spoiled the fact that Jon Snow is actually a Targaryen. They spoiled the fact what Hodor stands for. And all of this foreshadowing, all of this build-up now leads to naught. Imagine if I were to go back in time and tell some random person, it's like, okay, you need to make this movie called Star Wars, and here are some of the bullet points that you need to understand, okay? Vader is Luke's father. Luke is going to forgive his father, and Luke is going to be defeated by the Emperor, but Darth Vader is going to save him in the last moment, okay? If I just give like bullet points like that, the movie that comes out is going to be completely different than the original story of Star Wars. In fact, it can even be mediocre or worse. So that when the actual Star Wars comes out, a lot of people will be put off. They're not going to enjoy it as much because they already know. Like, no one is going to be shocked when they find out that Darth Vader is the father. And it's the same thing here. It's like a lot of the magic that Martin was building up to has now completely been destroyed. No one is going to be shocked when Jon Snow is going to come back from the dead. No one is going to be shocked when it's revealed that Daenerys is evil. And it's very difficult for him to write this, and especially knowing how the fans react to these things. Like, he knows how fans reacted when Daenerys turned evil. Like, how can you spin that around now? How can you... It's like being in a jury that already has been influenced by the public. So this is why I think it's very difficult for him to write this. And I don't think he's ever going to finish it. Now, he constantly gives deadlines, and he constantly doesn't follow them through. Which leads me to the question, why doesn't he just say, at this point, he's not going to make the book anymore? He can say, look, I just don't have what it takes anymore. Like, I'm not as young. I don't have the same imagination like I used to. I can't write this. You know, like, he could literally just say this, and I'm pretty sure, like, fans would be upset. But then they would leave him alone, you know? But in a way, like, he doesn't want that, which is what makes me think that he kind of enjoys being antagonized by the fans. And this is why I can't have this emotional connection with how bad and difficult his life must be, you know? It's like just... But anyway, so there was this convention in New Zealand, and he was asked to attend. And he said he can't attend because it would take him away from writing Winds of Winter. And instead he said that, can you not use the money that you would fly me there in order to fly other authors? And it says that, leave me here in Westeros for the nonce, but I tell you this, if I don't have the Winds of Winters in hand when I arrive in New Zealand for Worldcon, you have here my formal written permission to imprison me in a small cabin on White Island, overlooking that lake of sulfuric acid until I'm done. Just so long as the acrid fumes do not screw up my old DOS processor, I'll be fine. So he basically said that in 2020, by the time Worldcon is coming out, he is going to have the book finished. And recently, he says that the book is not finished. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel. You know, like, at this point, I'm starting to think that the old man is trolling. Like, I can't have a connection, an emotional connection with him, but I can have an emotional connection with the fans. Because I think every single human being knows what it means to be disappointed again and again and again. Like, just put the dog out of the misery, Martin. Just put it out of the misery. Just say that you're not going to finish this book, ever. So that people can move on. You know, we're going to go through the stages of grief. But eventually, we're going to go to acceptance. I mean, honestly, this is like... No, it's peak trolling. That's what it can be. It's like, yeah, next year is going to be... next year is going to happen. Oh, why are people asking me? When is it going to happen? I have to confess, after half a year of the pandemic, the quarantine, and the social distancing, I am showing signs of cabin fever. He is in an actual cabin. He does not have a fever. Okay? And he then reminds people that he is 71 years old. He's got what, like 2 books remaining? If nothing else, the enforced isolation has helped me write. I am spending long hours every day on the winds of winter and making progress. I finished a new chapter yesterday, another one 3 days ago, another one on the previous week. But no, this does not mean that the book will be finished tomorrow or published next week. It's going to be a huge book, and I still have a long way to go. Please do not give any credits to any of the clickbait websites that like to parse every word of my posts as if they were papal encyclicals to divine hidden meanings. I was heartbroken when Con Zealand was forced to go virtual due to the pandemic, and I had to cancel my plans for a long trip down to Wellington, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I don't think he cares. Like, I literally do not think he cares anymore. Like, he's already rich. He's already famous. The only thing is, like, here's the thing. Like, if he pushes the book and it turns out to be bad, it actually hurts him more than if he doesn't push the book. Because, like, at this point, everyone is waiting for the next thing, right? And if he doesn't deliver, he's going to maintain his reputation as one of the best writers. But if he releases the book and it turns out to be a disappointment, like the same with Dumb and Dumber that made the Game of Thrones TV show, right? When they were doing good seasons, everyone was like, oh, fantastic, great storytelling, really good adaptation, very great. And when they started, giving season 8 and the last one, it's like, a lot of people are now looking with, with doubt at Dumb and Dumber. They're looking like, no, they're not going to be able to write good things. Like, it was just lightning in the bottle. And I think, like, that's what Martin is trying to avoid. He doesn't want people to think that he just had lightning in a bottle. He wants people to think that he is a good writer. Again, look at how much business contracts he's getting from different companies, from, different places. People asking him to help him write TV shows and whatnot. If his reputation of being a good writer goes down the drain, he's not going to get those invites anymore. He's not going to get all of those things. So that's why I think the book isn't going to come out. Hopefully I'm wrong. I really want to finish reading and see what the actual Euron Greyjoy, which is a very interesting character, is going to do. But, yeah, I don't think I'll get that opportunity. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the comment section.